The disruption of that business has happened to a greater extent than even I was aware.
Disney has laid off thousands of members of staff this year. Its stock has plummeted by more than 50% in the last 2 years, and its streaming service is losing billions of dollars annually. But Disney's other business problem, writes Alicia Finlay in today's Life Science column, surely has to be its elevation of progressive pieties over originality and tradition. The latest example of this is the forthcoming live-action remake of the 1937 classic Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Disney's PC reimagining of the legendary fairy tale doesn't feature seven dwarves at all. Instead, it's seven magical creatures of varying sizes, shapes, ethnicities, and genders.
Of course, there's nothing wrong with casting a diverse crew, but with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Disney is refashioning a classic fairy tale merely to virtue signal. No. Already we've had a live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast which recast Gaston's sidekick as gay, and a Toy Story spin-off which included a scene that had two lesbians kissing. Speaking to IMDb at the D23 Expo this year, the new Snow White was asked which Disney characters she most identified with growing up.
Tie between Belle and Esmeralda. Ooh. Esmeralda was an activist, and I loved how she was anti-injustice.
Regarding Disney's classic animated films, which are now streaming on Disney+, a warning now appears at the start of many of them, including Dumbo, Peter Pan, and Jungle Book. It reads, "This program includes negative depictions and/or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then, and they're wrong now."
What our children see sets the framework for what they believe is possible in life. What message are we sending to little kids at the most vulnerable age if characters are one-dimensional, stereotyped, sidelined, hypersexualized, or simply not there at all?
The point here is that most parents don't need Disney telling them what they already know. Sure, some parents don't mind their toddler seeing a lesbian couple kissing on screen, but some do, and many don't like how Disney is recasting classics to exalt diversity for diversity's sake, and expunging anything that may offend bien pensant sensibilities.
We've been lectured for years about cultural appropriation and the vital importance of Hispanics playing Hispanics, trans actors for trans characters, disabled stars for disabled parts, but where's the consistency? In the original fairy tale, the Brothers Grimm wrote that Snow White is called Snow White because, as I say, her skin was Snow White. And that's the problem when you start pandering to the permanently offended. You can never go far enough.
Chris Evans, who voices Buzz Lightyear in the solo outing, was asked by Reuters how he counters negative responses to diversity.
Well, I mean, the real truth is those people are idiots. Those people die off like dinosaurs. And so, I think the goal is to pay them no mind, march forward, and embrace the growth that makes us human.
In its most recent quarter, Disney Plus lost 4 million subscribers. Bob Iger has blamed industry-wide overproduction as one of the reasons, which is true, an oversaturation of content, most of which is fairly mediocre. But Disney boasts an unrivaled catalogue that includes classic movies and TV shows that aren't available anywhere else, and its audience base should give it an advantage over other streaming services. After all, parents are willing to pay a premium for content that's entertaining, educational, and age-appropriate. What they don't want to have to do is screen everything before their kids get to see it.
There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic.
Bob Iger recently criticised the actors and writers on strike over their demands for, amongst other things, higher base pay and a cut of revenue from streamed productions.
They are adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing that is, quite frankly, very disruptive.
So they're not being realistic?
No, they're not.
He's right, and as much as Hollywood promotes cultural change, it's facing an uphill battle to adapt to technological and business changes threatening its left-wing megaphones.
You cannot change the business model as much as it has changed and not expect the contract to change too.
By projecting their politics into children's movies, Disney employees may end up casting themselves into the woods.